It is a distinct honor to be back again with you this year. My name is Kathy Gauthier. I'm a broadcaster with TSN's Season of Champions curling coverage, and at one time played the sport. I had a very big passion for softball at one point, and I had to choose between the sports, and curling definitely chose me. I was recently in Louisville, Kentucky, and not to run in the Derby, but we wound up going to the Louisville Slugger Museum. And one of the things that really struck me is how excited the people were that were in the building with us as we recognize right now our members that are being inducted this year. We all clap now because we're excited for them. Thank you. You may be seated. And at the museum, so many people were so excited about seeing memorabilia and what it was that these players had used in their career. And it was just a ringing re-endorsement of why nights like this are so very important. For those of you that haven't played ball in a long time, it is a reminder that we have not forgotten what your contributions are to the sport. The Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum, Inc. would like to acknowledge that we live, work, and play on traditional Indigenous territories and treaty lands 1, 2, 3, and 5 across Manitoba. We wish to express our gratitude to Mother Earth and for the resources we are using, including the land, water, and air, and honor and recognize all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land. We welcome all nations to Softball Manitoba. Tonight we have, yes, please. Tonight we have several special guests amongst us, including His Worship Mayor Scott Gillingham, Councillor Russ Wyatt, and Kent Morgan. Murray Blight, you'll have a chance to clap for the mayor in a moment. In my government career, I was always interested to look into the background of politicians, and the ones that I enjoyed the most had some sporting background. It showed me they knew how to work with others, they played well with those that they didn't necessarily like but could respect what they brought to the table, and understood that there is no replacement for hard work. And that is, in fact, what His Worship Mayor Gillingham has. He was born in Brandon, played in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League for Steinbach, Dauphin, and Winkler. And he joins us tonight to bring greetings from the city of Winnipeg, and as his 22 years of being a pastor, will also say grace. His Worship.
Well, thank you so much, Kathy. It's just it's great to be here with everybody. Thank you also for the treaty land acknowledgement, and it's an honor to join you tonight at the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame 2024 Gala, a room full of people. A special welcome to all of you who've traveled from outside of Winnipeg to be here tonight. Thank you so much for attending. I want to greet all of you on behalf of all my City Council colleagues. Councillor Russ Wyatt may be here shortly, but all of my other council colleagues as well. And I grew up outside of Winnipeg, small town, Carman. A lot of you will know where it is, just west of Carman on a farm there. And I was thinking about this today, the fact that softball, I kid you not, is the reason I'm in French lessons today. Because when I was in high school, the softball coach, Mr. Kidd, was the French teacher. And my performance in class, well, let's just say it wasn't what it should have been. And I knew one of two things inevitably was happening. If I kept up with my performance and attitude in French class the way it was, I would be benched playing softball. And so I quit French so that I could be playing softball and make sure I didn't get benched in the game. I kid you not, this is like 40 years later, I'm in French lessons again going, I never should have quit. I should have, given up a few games of softball just to make sure that I could continue to build a base for French. But like so many of you, I have enjoyed the power, the camaraderie of sport, and certainly through multiple sports, and no doubt many of you in the room today, though you've been in softball in many ways, no doubt have played a lot of other sports as well. I want to take a moment today to congratulate all those who are being inducted as we celebrate the rich history of softball in our province. Individuals like Frank Giesbrecht, who's being inducted all-around category, been involved with softball for over 5 decades, remarkable as a player and a coach. and continues to play for the senior slow pitch softball team. Congratulations to Fran and all 7 individuals and the 3 teams who are being inducted as well. Your contributions to the support of softball in Manitoba are appreciated, and your achievements will be forever remembered as you're inducted into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. I want to take a moment too just to thank the builders and those of you who work behind the scenes, either as coaches or managers or fundraisers in your local community, to make sure that people of all ages and all generations get to play and enjoy the sport that we all love so much. So again, congratulations to each one of you. Thank you also to the Board of Directors, Murray and the entire team, and the volunteers that maintain the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum for your dedication to preserving and showcasing the history of softball in our province. Thank you so much. I've been asked to say grace as well, so if we could just bow for a moment, and we'll give thanks for the food. Creator God, we are thankful for this day and these people. Thank you for our province and all the blessings that we enjoy, the communities that we come from, and the various ways that we get to participate in our communities and enrich the lives of others. Thank you now for this food. At a time when so many are hungry, we're grateful for the food that is going to be before us and the conversations we get to have with one another. Amen.
Thank you, Mayor. Enjoy your dinner. While you get on with your desserts, we will begin the program. And I would like to begin by calling up Kent Morgan, co-founder and former president of the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. Kent?
Thank you, Kathy. Just as a warning to the people who know me, I'm going to keep it brief, don't worry. Usually I don't need a mic, do I, Murray? Softball in Manitoba can be traced back more than a century. The first organized senior leagues began play in the early 1920s, and from the 30s to the 1950s, softball was one of the most popular spectator sports in the city, drawing crowds of thousands to watch the top men's and women's teams play at long-gone parks such as Wesley Park and Osborne Stadium. As the game became more popular in the larger rural centers and city leagues began to provide competition at various levels, the Manitoba Amateur Softball Association was formed. And over the years, teams such as the CUAC Blues, Molson Canadians, Winnipeg Colonels, and Smitties proved that Manitoba could compete with the best in the country. Our province also produced many outstanding players, coaches, umpires, and a strong volunteer base that helped build the game from the minor level to the senior level right across the province. The Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame was formed in 1980 to recognize the best from all sports in our province. Realizing how difficult it was to be inducted, individual sports such as baseball, curling, and hockey later became to form their own halls of fame. Around 1990, a group of softball people met informally to discuss the possibility of a softball shrine, but nothing came of it. Towards the end of the decade, June Graham, who had played and coached at the highest level in our province and worked in softball Manitoba programs, and I decided to move forward with the idea again. June had spent time in the Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee. An informal committee was formed, and the discussions that included meeting with the baseball and curling halls to learn from their experiences led to a decision to try to bring the Softball Hall of Fame to fruition. The Manitoba Softball Association agreed to provide the necessary funding to hold an initial induction ceremony. The Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame became an incorporated, not-for-profit organization with a board of directors. I reluctantly agreed to serve as the first president, and June became a director. The vice president was Vic Pitherney from Portage la Prairie, who had succeeded me as the Softball Manitoba president in the 70s. And I would be remiss if I didn't credit June and Vic as being primarily responsible for the Hall of Fame and Museum finding a home at the Fort Lorraine Museum in Portage-la-Prairie. The facility was officially opened on May 25, 2002, the same day the first induction ceremony was held in Portage. The public was encouraged to submit nominations for the first induction, just as they are today. The board felt it was important that the first group be the best of the best. An independent selection committee was formed with June as a non-voting chair and Vic the only director on it. In addition to nominations from the public, the committee was instructed to consider teams and people who had been inducted into the Canadian Softball Hall of Fame and the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame, as well as honorary life members of the Manitoba Softball Association, now Softball Manitoba. The latter is the highest honor the association can bestow on for volunteer work, and only 8 individuals have received it. When I look at the first class, it's clear that the committee got it right with both a women's and a men's Canadian Championship team, 2 Olympians and 1 Pan Am Games player, male and female stars from the early days of the sport, top coaches, and 2 quality umpires, if there are any, who also worked in the administrative side of Softball Manitoba. The class also included the first builder, Jim Adams, who served as association president for many years prior to my term, and who I credit with taking the softball organization from his kitchen tables to the boardroom. There you have a brief history of the Hall of Fame. Closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the directors and committee members for their hard work over the years, and of course, congratulate this year's inductees as they join those who have been honored in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Kent. I'd now like to invite Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame President Murray Blight.
Thank you, Kathy. And before I start, round of applause for Kathy. I can't say enough about her commentary in providing our curling information. You know, it was absolutely enjoyable, so you did a fantastic job. Your Worship, Councillor Wyatt, Kent Morgan, thanks Kent, bringing us the history, inductees, and our guests. On behalf of the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame Board of Directors, welcome to the 21st Annual Induction Ceremony. This evening we'll be able to interact with our fellow colleagues. Some of you have traveled world afar to be here this evening, and personally it just gives me goosebumps to see people that I've seen for the last, and I hate to say it, number of years standing at this podium, but I'm not hard to say about it. It's a fantastic evening, an enjoyable evening, just to reminisce. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the executive. We're all volunteers. There's no remuneration. So I'd like to introduce our current executive, past President Al Sharp. If you could stand for a quick and let people know where you are, wave your hand. Vice President Adrian Brown. Adrian tonight is receiving acknowledgement with the Police Association. He was an inductee last year, so congratulations on that reward. Les Elchuk, our secretary. Treasurer Les Newman. I'm sure you all know Les looking after our finances. Job well done. Mo Bray, Jenna Taylor, Bob Conabear, Jack Colson, Kevin Bartley. We had to be creative and imaginative as a board because, as you can see, this event, it's certainly, we want to continue with the atmosphere. So this year, and through the agreement with the board members, we decided to create an awards package and started off with a gold, silver, bronze. Well, I'm happy to say I didn't get any gold, so if you were thinking you wanted to be a participant in that category, come and see me later. A silver, I didn't accomplish that, but I did, and through persistence and referrals, we were able to accomplish having 5 bronze sponsors. We were able to further to be able to get 3 major donations and also Evelyn Helinski, her celebration through Roy, was able to make a donation to the association. So in total, it created $9,000. So that certainly is going to help offset some of our expenditures for this year's event. I'd like to acknowledge who participated in the bronze category was Softball Manitoba, RMD Insurance, Rick. And Rick was instrumental in getting a couple $1,000 donations from some business. So thanks very much, Rick. Appreciate that. I'll just put another plug. Any more, I would appreciate hearing, knowing them as well. Vinyl Holdings out of Brandon, Smitty's Restaurant, and Engraving Memories by Lorna. So again, thank you for your patronage. And as I say, by all means, any of the board members, if you want to participate, be involved in this, please get a hold of us because we would certainly appreciate it. The museum part of it, we're in a working relationship with the Softball Brandon, the Ashley Neufeld. We're looking at having a museum in Brandon, Manitoba. It's in the infancy stage, so that hopefully will certainly come about. Again, we're still pursuing the history and leagues. Bob Conabear, certainly refer any information to him. Our nomination selection committee, Mo, Jana, and Jack, are editing it. We hope to have that in the very near future. Just some different ideas and means and your input, and we've had some people express some ideas to us as well. So Les, he's going to be forthcoming, but I can't say enough. He's a brother that I never had. You see all this work that he's showing. I'm going to leave it with him here to bring up and tell you about it. But it's the way we're going with the times to be able to provide you information. Because I'm sure any of the board members that are involved in previous ones, if we don't keep this going, nobody will. Because unfortunately, the game of fastball, like I'm just 27, I reversed that number, but I enjoy still playing fast pitch. We are sporty, so I'm going to give the plug out of Ononol. We are going to be having the first 50 Masters Championship in July the 6th. So yes, so you're never too old to still participate in this game. So once again, thank you for all coming. Enjoy the evening. Kathy, doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Murray. And a little bit of a segue to Les Alchuk. He's your final speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. A couple of years ago, actually, it was more than that, we talked about needing to improve our website. So with a little bit of help, and I'll acknowledge Adam Wedlake, Basketball Manitoba, we ended up creating our website. So I was then in the process of gathering all sorts of information, news articles, team photos, action photos, individual photos, memorabilia in a digital format so that we could share that with everyone and help preserve the history of our great game in this province. But not only preserve the history, but also the achievements of our athletes and teams. We've had national champions, we've had members on national teams, we've had teams that have won beyond national champions or championships. We have a lot to celebrate in this sport. And I think it's important that we preserve that and be able to share that like other organizations do with their websites. So you can see here we have MSHOFM.com. That's our website. It's still in the building process because there's just lots of information, and to get that information, you got to spend time on it. I was telling the board at our last meeting, I kind of fell into a rabbit hole one night and was looking at the University of Manitoba Winnipeg Tribune archives. Fastball was reported on almost every day in the sports section. There were multiple leagues within the city that had results and scores. People don't know that unless you go looking for that. We're going to try and make that easier for you by coming to our website, and you'll be able to see that information on the teams that have been inducted. We want to take that a step further, and as Bob Conybeare has done a lot of research on leagues and teams within the province, we want to include those too. Another project that I have is I'd like to start interviewing some of our senior ball players who knew what it was like to play in that era of fast pitch, fast ball, slow pitch, when the game was really thriving. So I need your help by submitting what you can as far as you have for pictures in a digital format. Send them to admin@mshofm.com. And we will get to them, and we will find some way to use them. I thank you in advance for your help.
We have many previous inductees amongst us tonight. On page 7 and 8 in your program, you'll find a complete list of all of those in the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame, both individual and team inductees. Would all of those previously inducted members in attendance tonight please stand so that we can recognize your contributions? Thank you. Since our last induction dinner, we have lost several members of our softball community. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember them. Thank you. The board would like to take this opportunity to extend their gratitude and appreciation to the sponsors who have contributed to our banquet success tonight. Be sure to check out the advertisements in the program and support them wherever you can. That is how they come back. Thank you to all of those who have supported the Hall of Fame through your purchase of lifetime or annual memberships, as well as your support and other donations. A big thank you is also extended to everyone who has assisted the board tonight in hosting this induction banquet and ceremony. Your continued support enables the Hall of Fame and Museum Board to hold the induction ceremony and operate the museum in Portage. And speaking of the museum, like Les, they are always looking for pictures of memorabilia of anything related to softball. Equipment, uniforms, jackets, crests, bats, balls, scrapbooks, any kind of thing like that, but new displays are in place. They do not accept right now any physical items. It is about pictures, but please talk to any Board of Fame director if you have anything. At the back of the room over at the left earlier, Corey, you're here. Asin from Heavy Metal Design has a display of Hall of Fame rings. If you would like to recognize this achievement by a ring, talk to Corey. And if anybody else wants a ring to pretend you were inducted, you can talk to Corey as well. Treasurer Les Newman will be glad to provide a tax receipt to anyone making a financial contribution tonight to the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. Les is right in front of me here at table 3. Lifetime members are listed on page 4 of the program. If you have questions about the nomination process, you will find answers on page 6 of the program. Nominations are reviewed by an independent selection committee, which makes the final decision on individual and the teams that will be inducted each year. Once again, the members of the committee have done an excellent job. They were Jill Mattheys, Doug Fraser, Al McPherson, Ferdy Nellison, Bev Workman, Brett Turner with Les Newman, and Jack Coulson as facilitators. Thank you all. Yes, great work. And if you're interested in nominating an individual or a team, please download a copy from Softball Manitoba's and Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame's webpage. The nomination deadline is September the 1st. On page 6 of your program, you will find information on the operation of Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Board. The annual general meeting is tentatively scheduled for September the 12th right here, and you are all welcome. Some of you have already checked the items in the silent auction and purchased your tickets. If you haven't, they will be open until intermission, at which time the auction will be closed. Tickets are $10 for a sheet of 25 and $20 for 3 sheets. And if you're a planner, next year's event is already being booked. The 22nd induction ceremony and banquet will be back here at the Victoria Inn on Saturday, May the 3rd, 2025. Tonight we are here to formally induct 7 individuals and 3 teams into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. The induction ceremony will be conducted in 2 parts. During the first half, we will induct the 7 individuals, and after a short intermission, we will induct the 3 teams. You can read at length about the accomplishments of the inductees in the program. During the ceremony, we'll attempt to focus on just a couple of the highlights that may not be included on the museum plaque. Now, before we begin the induction ceremony, we will take about a 10-minute break, and they're asking the 7 individuals if they could gather to my right. They are Kevin Bartley, Shelley Bone, Nathan Giesbrecht, Mandy Greenberg, Ron Taylor, represented by his son, Gordon Taylor, Fran Giesbrecht, and Steve Mimko. And as we take the break, I would just like us to acknowledge Mayor Gillingham has another commitment. This is the first time a mayor has joined us at the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. I think that's worthy of thank you. Enjoy your break. All right, we will begin the first half. Many of you may not have seen the awards that are presented to the inductees. The individuals and teams receive a large stained glass award in the shape of the province of Manitoba. Murray, do you have? Murray, he's going to show you what the awards look like. So the individuals and teams receive a large stained glass award in the shape of the province of Manitoba, while each team member receives a plaque in the shape of home plate. That's your cue, home plate.
Okay, dear.
Trying to find a home plate. These unique awards were created by Riverside Stained Glass and Off the Wall. So those are the individual awards. Inductees also receive a certificate to commemorate their induction into the Hall of Fame. In addition, permanent prints. What do you got now? Oh, yes. So in addition, permanent prints with photos and text about the inductees have been produced. Laminated copies of the prints can be ordered. Order forms are available from a Hall of Fame board member or the memorabilia table. Laminated copies are $38 when picked up in Winnipeg or $55 if mailed. So the goal is to keep this ceremony moving along. So if you'd like to take photos and we're talking about the person that you are here to see, feel free to come on up to the front and get ready to take the pictures. Murray Blight and board members from the Hall of Fame will assist. We will now begin with the individual inductions. First, the criteria. Any nomination for a long-term accomplishment must cover a minimum of 2 years and the maximum of 6. Our inductees will remain on the stage until the presentations are completed. Our first individual tonight is Kevin Bartley. Kevin was an all-around athlete who excelled in both hockey and fastball. He started his fastball career as a catcher on his high school fastball team in Killarney and continued playing that position competitively for over 20 years with the Sanders fastball team based out of Killarney and then the Minto Mustangs. During this time, compiled an impressive list of accomplishments. Kevin was on 3 Southwest Major Fastball League championship teams with Sanders and was a 3-time SWMFL All-Star. As a member of the Minto Mustangs, he played in 9 consecutive Senior B or Intermediate A provincial finals, winning 5 of them. He played in 7 Western Canadian Fastball Championships at the Senior B and Intermediate A levels, winning 1 gold and 2 bronze medals. In 1997, Kevin played with Minto in the Manitoba-based division of the ISC Travel League. They won the league, which qualified them for the NAFA World Tournament in Fargo, North Dakota. Kevin won his last provincial title with the Southwest Maulers at the 55-plus slow pitch provincials in 2017. Kevin has played an important role on many winning teams for most of his career and is deserving of going into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming Kevin Bartley into the Softball Hall of Fame in the athlete category.
You betcha. You want me to hold on for you? Sure, I'll drop it. Got to get my glasses. Jana wants to buy these later, too, I heard. Well, thank you, Kathy. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum for hosting another wonderful induction ceremony. I also want to thank the selection committee for my selection to the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the other inductees and the 3 teams to be inducted tonight. I was a catcher for over 20 years, and my knees remind me of that every day. But if I had to do it over again, I would in a minute. I was so fortunate to play with 2 great fastball teams over my years. I started with the Killarney Sanders Fastball Club when I was 17 years old, and 12 years later with the Minnow Mustangs. Both teams are very good ball clubs with good players, but even better people. However, it was in Minto we had the most success over the years. As Kathy said, we played in 7 Western Canadian Championships, winning 1 gold and 2 bronze medals. I also played in the NAFA World Series, 9 provincial championship finals, winning 5 of them. And I can't even guess the number of tournaments we won just on weekend balls over the 10 years. It was a lot, actually. The 1980s and 90s are such a great era for men's fast pitch. There was tournaments every weekend, teams in almost every town back then. It was just a great time to be playing fast pitch. I played with a lot of great ball players, too many to mention any names. I caught 5 Hall of Fame pitchers over my 20 years, and I was lucky enough to play with my brother, Jim, with both Sanders and Minto for 17 years. He was a really good player in his own right. We saw a lot of towns and ball diamonds together and the odd beer garden or 2, and had a lot of fun along the way. Thank you. The best part of being a member of these teams are the lifelong friendships and memories that my wife Sharon and I have made because of fast pitch. We had so much fun over the years. Saying that, I want to thank my wife Sharon, daughter Cass, her fiance Rylan, as well as the rest of my family and dear friends and former teammates for being here tonight to celebrate with me. I want to end my speech thanking the 2 people who are the reason I'm standing here tonight, my mom and dad, Barry and Cheryl Bartley. We grew up on a farm 10 miles west of Killarney. The sacrifice they made over the years getting myself, my 2 brothers, and sister to practices, games, and everything else we did was an undertaking that was no small task, to say the least. My mom passed away 3 years ago, and we miss her dearly. Sorry. My dad is here tonight with my brother Jim, and we are going to celebrate, and we have a wine or 2 for Mom. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the evening.
Our next inductee in the athlete category is Shelley Bone. Shelley Bone grew up in the rural area of Waldersea, Glenella, Manitoba, and graduated from Kelwood Collegiate as a multi-sport athlete. After high school graduation, she moved to Winnipeg and began playing women's and co-ed fastball and slow pitch. After a few years of playing at the recreational level, Shelley joined a competitive team called the Moose's Mob that dominated the slow pitch tournament circuit in and around Winnipeg. In 2002, a new senior women's slow pitch team, the Bison Blondes, were formed, with Shelley being an integral part of the team. The team played league games in Winnipeg and tournaments in Manitoba, North Dakota, and Minnesota with the goal of preparing for Softball Canada's Slow Pitch Nationals. And prepare they did. From 2002 to 2007, the Bison Blondes won a total of 5 gold medals, 1 silver, and 1 bronze medal at various national championships. They also won a silver in 2002 and a gold in 2003 at Western Canadian Slow Pitch Championships. Shelley was known as an all-around athlete who could hit, field, and had noteworthy leadership skills. Over the course of her career, she won countless individual awards, but always considered the team accomplishments as far more important than anything she earned as a player. The Bison Blondes were inducted into the Softball Hall of Fame as a team in 2019, and now Shelley will go in as an athlete. Please join me in welcoming Shelley Bone into the athlete category.
I'm going to make this short and sweet because I don't like speaking. I just want to thank my teammates for nominating me and to the Softball Hall of Fame for my induction. It's truly an honor to be awarded for playing a game that you love. I want to thank my family for being here tonight. And my biggest thank you goes out to my teammates. You might have heard them. Playing with you over the last number of years, I've gained many lifelong friendships and love the time we have spent on and off the diamond. The game has given so much to me, and I just want to say cheers to my teammates and chug, chug, chug.
Thank you, Shelley. You seem like you would have been a real fun player to play with, I just sense. Our next individual in the athlete category is Nathan Giesbrecht. Nathan started playing softball at the age of 7 and played all of his minor ball with the Landmark program that his father had helped organize. It did not take long for Nathan to become skilled at the game. In 1987, as a bantam-age player, he was on a team that won bronze at the Western Canadian Championship and was voted top player in Manitoba for that age group. In 1989, he was on the Manitoba team that won bronze at the Canada Games and was the top batter for Manitoba. In 1992, he was on the Landmark team that won the Junior Men's Provincials and represented Manitoba at Junior Nationals. And in 1994, he was on the Manitoba Alliance team that won a silver at the Junior Men's National Championships. While he was playing junior fastball, he was also playing in senior leagues. From 1990 to 2008, he played with the Landmark Knights, the Manitoba Alliance, the Manitoba Red Dogs, the Vipers, and the Kegel Black Knights. These teams played in the Hanover Fastball League, the Winnipeg Men's League, and in both the ISC Travel and the NAFA Leagues and tournaments. A list of his personal awards includes being a NAFA All-World selection on 3 occasions and being inducted into the NAFA Hall of Fame in 2018. Another great indication of his talent and dedication was that his name was on the list of the Canadian National Team Player Pool from 1997 to 1999. In addition to being a great player, Nathan coached in the Landmark Minor Girls Softball program from 2016 to 2022 and coached in the Eastman Wildcats AAA softball program from 2017 to 2020. He continues to serve on the Landmark Minor Softball Board. Please welcome Nathan Giesbrecht into the Softball Hall of Fame as an athlete.
I'm not going to have a problem reading this because my wife printed it in the biggest print possible. So don't be scared about the amount of pages that are here. Thank you. I'm very honored to be here. I've got many friends, family, teammates, and coaches that made this possible, and I'm sorry if I leave anybody out. Thank you to Adrian Brown for nominating me for this honor. Thank you to the committee and the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame for selecting me and putting this evening on. And congratulations to all the deserving inductees here tonight. Thank you to my dad, Fran, who instilled a love of fast pitch in me from birth. My parents took my brother and I to my dad's games as soon as we were able, and we would play our own games on the sidelines and always looked forward to being allowed on the field after the game to run the bases. The passion began there. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for all your support. My brother Rob and I spend most of our warm weather hours playing backyard baseball games, giving us a huge amount of practice for our future ball careers. It was a great way to grow up, and I think a key to our success. Thanks, Rob. When I was young, there weren't many sports programs in our community, summertime sports programs. My dad, together with Bernie Neufeld and later John Peters, started a boys' softball program. It was so much fun that everybody in town wanted to play, and soon we had many teams for many ages. They created an amazing softball community, and that still continues with the girls program today. A lot of great players have come out of Landmark thanks to their coaching, and those players that they coached have coached the next generation, and so on. Thank you, Dad, for doing that, and congratulations on your well-deserved Softball Hall of Fame induction. You have a wonderful legacy in Landmark. I'd also like to thank some of the people who gave me opportunities to keep playing. John Keegle, John Peters, just to name a couple, who put in a lot of time, effort, and money into building junior and senior teams, which not only gave me a place to play the game I love, but for creating teams that felt like family. It was a huge part of why we were successful, and many of those teammates are friends for life. And finally, thank you to my wife, Bridget, and my kids for supporting me and making it possible to keep playing after we started our family. For many years, with our 4 kids still at a very young age, I spent most summer weekends traveling to tournaments while Bridget was home with our family. Or when possible, we made the road trips as a family and camped or stayed in some pretty cheap motels. The Highlander in Eau Claire comes to mind. My parents would often be there to support us, and my kids have some great memories from those trips, but it certainly wasn't easy for Bridget. Thank you, Bridget, for your sacrifices. This wouldn't have been possible without you. Thanks again to everyone who helped me along the way in my softball career. It's a great honor to be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. It is pretty special to have a father and a son recognized in the same year. Our next person entering in the athlete category is Mandy Greenberg. Mandy Greenberg began playing softball at the age of 9 in the Maples area of Winnipeg. She played on numerous minor ball teams before moving up to play on the Manitoba Angels junior team, the Manitoba team at the 2009 Canada Games, the Minot State Beavers of U.S. College Softball, and finally the Smitty's Terminators senior team. Mandy was a dominant pitcher wherever she played. She has been on numerous provincial championship teams and has pitched on 2 silver medal winning teams at the national level, one at the U19 Canadian Championships in 2009, in which she threw 2 no-hitters, and another at the Canadian Senior Women's Championship in 2014. During her collegiate career at Minot State, Mandy finished with a total record of 73 wins and 28 losses and a career ERA of 1.77. She set numerous team and tournament records, many relating to her strikeout totals, and was named to many all-star teams. She also won a Gold Glove as a pitcher and was named an All-American athlete for Minot State in 2013. In 2020, Mandy was inducted into the Minot State University Athletic Hall of Fame, and tonight we welcome her into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame in the athlete category.
Congratulations, Mandy.
Public speaking is not my forte, so thank you.
That's brilliant. Our final inductee into the athlete category tonight is Ron Taylor. Ron Taylor grew up in Winnipeg and became an accomplished athlete in both hockey and softball. An injury forced him out of hockey, but fortunately, he was able to continue to develop his softball skills. He played competitively at the highest levels for over 3 decades and was a top hitting outfielder wherever he played. Ron has played on teams that won at least 8 provincial titles and 2 Western Canadian championships. He played on 3 different teams in the Western Major Fastball League, the Edmonton Monarchs, the Brandon Merchants, and the Winnipeg Colonels. He played on the Manitoba team that was the host team at the 1967 Pan Am Games held in Winnipeg and has won medals at World Championships in both fastball and slow pitch. Ron passed away in May of 2019. Ron has been inducted into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame with 4 different teams and is an inductee to the Hall of Fame in 2024 in the athlete category. Ron is not able to be here, or his family not representing him tonight, but I believe Murray is going to accept his award on his behalf and make sure it gets to him. But let's acknowledge Ron Taylor. In the all-around category tonight, it is Fran Giesbrecht. Fran's involvement in the game of softball spans over 5 decades. He grew up playing baseball in Crystal City, Manitoba, but after moving to Winnipeg in 1971, took up the game of fastball. By 1975, he was playing at the Senior A level with the Winnipeg Black Knights. In 1979, he won the Senior A batting title, and in 1980 was named All-Star shortstop for the league. With the KK Tiger Paws, a team from Steinbach, Fran won a silver medal at the 1984 Western Canadian Senior B Championships in Edmonton. In 1981, Fran and a few other fastball players started a minor softball program in Landmark. By the late 1980s, the program had 8 boys and 8 girls teams. From 1981 to 1995, he was part of the coaching staff on teams at the Squirt, Pee-wee, Bantam, Midget, and Junior age groups. With these teams, he won a total of 8 provincial championships, a bronze at the Western Canadian Bantam Boys Championship in 1987, a silver at the Midget Canadian Fastball Championship in 1991, and both a silver and a gold in 1994 and 1995 at the Canadian Junior Men's Fastball Championship. He won another provincial Senior A title as a coach of the Manitoba Alliance in 2002. Fran won his last championship as a player in 2016 with the Triclad designed slow pitch team that won provincials and took gold at the Senior Slow Pitch Canadian Championships in Brampton, Ontario. Fran is known as an accomplished softball player, but even more so as a person who gave back to the game and provided the opportunity for young people to learn and play the game of fastball at a very high level. Fran Giesbrecht is an inductee to the Softball Hall of Fame tonight in the all-around category.
Sure. Congratulations to all of you. It's wonderful. When Rolf Nesper encouraged me to find fastball stuff from the last 50 years because he was nominating me for the Fastball Hall of Fame, I fidgeted. Now, after frantically searching for photos I couldn't find and facts that I now realize were only fiction, I come to realize how incredibly fortunate a fellow I have been. In 1971, the year Marge and I married and moved to Winnipeg, I began looking for a place to play baseball. And fortunately, my cousin, it's all about the Yankees, Lloyd Penner, popped up and showed me how this beautiful and most exciting game called fastball was played, and I was completely hooked. Lloyd is no stranger to the Hall of Fame extravaganza, so it's very special he and Ramona are here today. I quickly changed my search to looking for a fastball team, and fortunately John Wientz popped up and formed a church league team at my church, which I realized later is where fastball players generally learn their craft. John, a passionate lover of the finer details of playing the game of fastball, coached our group until we hit the big time in the Winnipeg Industrial League. Fortunately, made possible because of generous people like Jake Rempel, the owner of Red River Realty at the time, who actually bought us uniforms. In 1975, after having reached the pinnacle of Senior A level of this wonderful game, Marge and I moved our family to a small town of Landmark, a village of about 500 people, citizens at the time. Where there was no organized ball being played, no adults, no kids playing ball, fastball, baseball, didn't matter. Our 2 sons, Rob and Nathan, were growing up quickly, and it was fast becoming apparent they needed a place to play the game. Their dad was having so much fun playing in Winnipeg. The backstop in our half-acre backyard was wearing out. The windows in our house were all under threat. And the excitement of sliding into all the bases after all of my games had run its course. And then, fortunately, up popped 2 lovers of fastball, Bernie Newell Jr. and John Peters Sr., two friends and neighbors to us in Landmark, both with their own kids needing a place to play, declaring, "Since fastball is this absolutely perfect game for both boys and girls to play, we are interested in helping start a boys and girls team in Landmark." By 1980, we had formed 8 boys and 8 girls minor teams, complete with 32 brand new coaches, more than 5 umpires, and a serious need for training, for diamonds to play on, and for teams to play against. It didn't take long, and up popped Dave Coulter and Lloyd Plett to take on this onerous task of building a sports complex in Landmark where one didn't exist. And in no time at all, we had 3 state-of-the-art, perfectly drained ball diamonds and an arena which provided the washrooms. David bought a ticket for us for tonight, but unfortunately fell ill. And lo and behold, up popped Ron Coop, the umpire-in-chief, who willingly took care of developing the new umpires in our newly formed Landmark Minor softball program to take David's place. As my team of boys became more than a handful, I was hoping to shoulder tap someone to be my assistant coach, but the parents of Landmark were completely tapped out. And then fortunately, up popped my dear friend from Winnipeg, John Weir, who was willing to drive out to Landmark from the city, even for practices, to help me coach for many years. Unfortunately, John came down with a cold yesterday and decided not to risk giving it all to all of you. This chair beside me would have been vacant, except up popped Dave Dreger to take the chair, a fellow teammate through all of these years who can vouch for all my stats, which I'm now thinking are fiction. I realize some of the original players, David Plett and Rob Coop, are here today with their wives, Lisa and Kim, and to support my son, Nathan. But since David and Rob were both definitely parts of the players group, which set a tone of excellence for my teams right from the very beginning, I appreciate and want to note their presence here. I consider them to be representing those 17 boys who came out on that first day of practice back in the late 70s, all from the same grade 6 class. My granddaughters, Monica, Kate, Melanie, and Annika, and my grandson, Luke, and Zach, all played in the Landmark Minor program. Unfortunately for Luke and Zach, the program had been changed to baseball by the time they got there. So they will have to be content with playing slow pitch in the coming years to experience the big ball game. The parents of the kids from the village of Landmark stepped up, filling every volunteer position we could imagine for them. They and their families took care of the coaching, umpiring, and a place to play. And when we looked around for teams for our boys and girls to play in this intricate and rewarding game, up popped Barb Smith, Don Clem, and the whole Manitoba Softball Association crew to tell us Swan Valley, Whitemouth, Winkler, Charleswood, and Clifton Community Club in Winnipeg were all looking for other boys' teams to play. Fortunately, the girls' teams were able to almost immediately join the many well-established local girls' leagues in the surrounding area. Our Landmark boys and girls teams have now played for many years, and many of them quite successfully. Last year, my family entered a slow pitch team into the Landmark Friendship Festival, naming it the Geezers, since all of 12 of us could use the last name Giesbrecht. And so it's very special that all except 2 of my grandkids are here today. In 1994, our Manitoba Alliance Junior Men's team, which was representing Manitoba at the Canadian Junior Men's Nationals, needed a coach. And very, very importantly, up popped Ralph Nestor, who most certainly had the ability to coach a group of U23 men to the next level, winning silver that year. As his assistant, I wrote down everything Ralph was teaching, with the most important being to be a complete organization, you need a strong assistant coach, someone who brings everything to the team that you don't have. So taking over the Alliance reins for the next years, needing an assistant, I turned to my neighbor, Rod Peters, John's son, fondly known as Bubba, and he agreed. While sitting together watching the first game at the Nationals in Prince George later that year, I asked him, "What do we need to know?"
And Rod replied, "It'd be nice to know which pitch the guy kills." So we proceeded to map it out, and fortunately, our map took us to the gold medal. I'm thinking Rod is a genius coach. To round out the guests at our table, I'd like to acknowledge and thank my sister Sandy, my sister Nancy, and her husband Louis for their support. It's very special to me. My brother Dennis in Kitchener, Waterloo said, "Send me the photos." I'd also like to thank Ralph for nominating me and for regularly listening to all my stories. And then thanks to Les Newman, Les Elchuk, Murray Blight, and the entire Hall of Fame committee for this fantastic honor. I've been and am a very fortunate fellow. And lastly, to the people of Landmark. All of you are beautiful evidence that it takes a village to raise a successful fastball program.
Thank you. Our final individual inductee and the final one in this half is in the builder category, and that is Steve Mimko. Steve Mimko has been involved with the sport of softball for well over 35 years. He played for many years, and for 6 years, starting in 1999, coached minor girls softball in Winnipeg. In 2002, he decided that the northeast area of Winnipeg needed better facilities for softball. Steve began lobbying and fundraising, and because of his tenacity and consistent effort, the Buhler Recreation Park opened in 2008. It is a top-notch multi-sport, multi-use facility with 9 ball diamonds, 4 athletic fields, and a walking trail system. It hosts numerous softball leagues each summer and has hosted national events such as the 2009 Canadian Senior Fast Pitch Championships, the 2015 Canadian Native Softball Championships, and events for the 2023 World Police and Fire Games. Steve's dedication to promoting and supporting the game of softball and other recreation activities has been recognized with numerous awards, including an induction into the Slow Pitch National Hall of Fame in 2023. Another award that he is proud of is the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal, awarded for community service and volunteerism, which he received in 2012. It would be difficult to count the number of people who have been positively affected by Steve's efforts in providing opportunities to play the game of softball and be involved in other sports as well. He continues to be the executive director and facility manager of Buhler Recreation Park. Tonight, as a builder, we welcome Steve Mimko into the Softball Hall of Fame.
Hey, Steve.
It's very humbling, to be up here. I'm looking around. It's almost like a living funeral. Like all your friends are all dressed up and they're honoring you. You get to see them here at this one, at least. So it's all nice. I'm not here on my own. I represent a team of people that have been behind me for, I guess I've been at it for 44 years now. I started off when I was 16 years old at the Gateway Community Club as a hockey convener, a softball convener. I became a baseball convener, the equipment guy. And with that, I was accused back then of being a little wet behind the ears by some people. And here I am. And with that, you always need guidance. And from back in those days, I had a good friend that's been with me since then, Bill James. I'm happy that he's here tonight. And the journey continued. Over time, I got involved in coaching other teams. And as you get older, you have your daughters and you start coaching those teams and so on and so forth. But like I say, I'm just a spoke in a big wheel that represent, and having people believe in you is the most humbling thing there is. And going through this journey, I've had companies and people always ask you how you raise this money and all that. But I have groups like my friends from Molson, Jesse's here. Terry and Wayne from the Mazer Group, the LaSalle Insurance people who believed in me, not just me, in our community of Transcona. And thank you to those guys, John and Bonnie Bueller. Again, they get hit up for money all the time, and somehow they believed in me. Again, thank you to them. Going through a game like this, or I don't call it a game, as building a park, and some of you I hope have been there, you have to have political support. And I've had a number one guy in my corner from day one. Councillor Wyatt, he believes in our community, our kids, and he never leaves us behind. Russ, thank you. I have a board of directors. I don't know how they believe in me, but they do. Like, we always start off every meeting, Steve, have we been sued by anybody today? Or like, nah, we're good, like, so on and so forth. But they've been with us for 20 years, and I'm happy they're here, Tommy and Pam and Katie. Again, just proud of those relationships. And I have two people, as some people know, I'm stepping back at the park. And I got two people that are in charge of day-to-day operations there now, Mike and Chelsea. They've been with me for 15 years. They're the ones that make me look good. I'm just a figurehead out there now. So thank you to them. It's the leagues that play out of there that believe in the park, that makes it their home. I see my boys from the Monday Night League are here, Brian and the gang. Thank you, you guys, and thank you to all the leagues. My relationships that I've built over the years with the Northeast Softball, Julie and Daff, they support us like no tomorrow. And then I see Frank and Al back there from the Umpires Association. Again, they believe in us. They believe in the park. It's their home as much as anybody. Again, thank you, you guys. Donnie Klim, Scotty Nealis, guys that we go. Again, I've done my things of administration, but I also played the game once in a while. My teammates are here from over 30 years. Richie, Jay, Dale. Guys, thanks for coming. You look nice dressed up. Okay. And then all the kids that play at the park. Again, that's what it was built for. I'm very proud of that. Our group is very proud of that. Now my family. They've put up with a lot of nonsense and shenanigans over the years. My kids are here. My grandkids are here. There's been many missed meals, many missed activities. Thank you for putting up with that. People say, how do you get by with everything you've done? It's simple. I have a code of ethics, morals, and it's passion. And I'm a straight shooter. And people that know me, what you see is what you get. In closing, I don't do this alone. I may be the captain of the team, but my 40th wedding anniversary is coming up. As I've said, I've been at this for 44 years. My wife has been with me for 42 of it. And today, I'm being inducted into the Softball Hall of Fame, but she's been with me just as long. And yes, tonight I get a ring, but my wife tonight I got her a Softball Hall of Fame necklace made up. And Laurie, please come up and accept it. Thank you.
I think he wanted the picture. Did you get the picture?
Yeah. I can get her back. Laurie.
Lori, come here, honey. You want the kissing, too.
Done. For every man out there, that's how it's done. If we could get one more round of applause for all of our inductees in this first half, thank you for your contribution to sport. We will now take a 10-minute intermission. If we could get the three teams that are being inducted to gather to the right, and if you have silent auction tickets, now's the time to put them in. We'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, folks, if you would like to take your seats, we will begin with our second half and our three-team induction. Our first team being inducted into the team category tonight is the 1979-1980 Brandon Westman Merchants Fastball Club. The Brandon Westman Merchants team was originally formed to compete in the Premier Men's Fastball League in Western Canada, the Western Major Fastball League. After playing in that league for 2 years, in 1977-1978, the Merchants withdrew from the WMFL and formed a new team with a combination of players from the Esso Astros Fastball Club and players that had played with the Merchants during the previous 2 years. This team joined the Brandon Centennial Men's Fastball League. The Merchants won the next 2 league championships in 1979 and 1980 with a total 2-year league record of 42 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. In 1979, the team also won the Manitoba Senior B Provincial Championship, which qualified them for the Western Canadian Senior B Championship in Lethbridge, Alberta. They won the silver medal after a hard-fought 1-0 loss to a team from Saskatchewan in the final. The Merchants were known to have good pitching, but also had a reputation for being an excellent hitting team. In the 1980 Centennial League season, 4 of the top 10 hitters in the league in terms of batting average were members of the Westman Merchants. The Brandon Westman Merchants team is inducted tonight into the Softball Hall of Fame in the team category. So we ask that you hold your applause as they come across the stage. We'll introduce each, and then we'll have a speaker. So starting first, Daryl Beamish. Instead of Bill Crossman? Murray Blight, just stand here and wave, Murray. Murray, are you going to get a plaque? Go get it.
Bob will present.
Okay, perfect. Dave Berman. Absolutely. Bill Crossman. Bill Edward. Larry Gillis. Marilyn Lance, representing Real Gregoire. Marilyn Gregoire for Richard Gregoire. Harvey Joseph. Roy Kelly. Keith Kyle. Hello. Judy Pomeroy for Jim Pomeroy. Dave Shyak. Rick Simpson. Rod Zank. And not attending, but were part of the team, Neil Andrews, Heather was going to be here, Robert Crossman, Dan Flick, and Ron Helgeson. This is your Brandon Westman Merchants team. And representing the team and speaking on their behalf tonight is Dave Shyak.
Thank you, Kathy. Retain this image, because I'll get back to it. 450, 500, 350 were the numbers that we had at the Hall of Fame previously, particularly in the Brandon area, pre-COVID. Tonight, 284. We are coming back. With your help, we are coming back. There are some troublesome times today, and it hasn't gone unnoticed by the big guy. He looked down one day and he said to his angels, "The earth is in demise." Called them together and said, "I want to find out what's going on down there." Called on St. Christopher, said, "You go down and report back to me in 3 days." Came back in 3 days. He said, "There's some rascally behavior going on down there. It's bad." How bad? 95% of the people are behaving poorly. Only 5% are being good. Didn't like that. But he wanted a second opinion. So he sent down St. Peter. St. Peter went down, came back 3 days later and said, "It's as bad as was reported. Rascally behavior, bad behavior." The big guy said, "I got to do something about this. What can I do?" Got the heads together and they said, "I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to devise an email and send it. 95% of the people are being bad. 5% are behaving good. I've got to send them an email and try to provide some incentive for them to continue to follow the straight and narrow and hopefully bring over some of the other people." And so he devised the email and sent it to the 5% that were behaving good. And do you know what that email said? No one? Neither do I. I didn't get one either. I expected one. There are reasons for our being here tonight. Kathy just read the accomplishments of our team. They're also in the program. You can read those. There's no need to reiterate what you already are aware of. I'm going to speak for a moment on why we're really here. We're here to reacquaint ourselves with people we haven't seen for years. People that we don't recognize and don't recognize us. We are going to tell stories tonight and retell stories about how good we were. And we're even better now than we were then. And this will continue. But the underlying reason for us to be here is this. Picture a mountain. Everyone in their careers, in life, in softball, in other activities, achieves to climb the mountain. Everybody wants to get to the summit, to the peak, to the pinnacle. But it is in that climb where all the learning, the fulfillment, the enjoyment, the growth, the good things and the bad things occur. Because that climb is fraught with obstacles. If you were to climb a mountain, the obstacles you encounter are rivers, streams, gullies, chasms, forests, trees. In softball, the obstacles you encounter are health issues, work commitments, family commitments, financial commitments, but the biggest obstacle are other teams, for they too are trying to get to the top of the mountain, and they will try to prevent you from getting there. So, how do you know when you've reached the top of the mountain? When you've got to the summit, to the peak? For some people, simply getting a team together and having a good time, that's their summit, that's their peak. For others, winning tournaments. For others, playing in provincials. For others, winning provincials. For others, participating in Western Canada or nationals. So how do you really know when you've reached the top of the mountain? Well, folks, tonight, by virtue of 7 individuals and 3 teams being nominated and selected to enter into the Hall of Fame, we are being recognized by our peers, by our equals, as having achieved our summit, our peak. We have reached the top of the mountain. Doesn't happen by accident. And to that end, we are grateful to all of us, to our husbands, wives, family, and friends for their support. Also wish to extend our appreciation to the Board of Directors and the Selection Committee and the Organizing Committee, the two Les's you've heard tonight, Les Newman and Les Elchuk. Absolutely phenomenal work done behind the scenes. Les Elchuk's website is fabulous. And I'm going to encourage the board through you, Murray, to ensure that you retain the services of Kathy. Absolutely, for the expediency and the efficiency in which she handles this event. Let me leave you with two personals. I'm using some of the time the other people didn't use, so I hope you don't mind. I timed them, and I've still got 4 minutes and 32 seconds. And I just have to look at where my place is, because when I get talking, I forget what I'm talking about sometimes. Oh, as one of two people that I'm aware of in this room, I've been fortunate enough to be able to participate in slow pitch and fast pitch for 8 decades. 8 decades. And there's another person in this room that I know of for sure, and that's Al Sharp. And sometimes I'm asked, like, how do you do that? How do you manage that? And this isn't my original. I'm borrowing a line. And it came from a guy who you probably have heard of by the name of Clint Eastwood. Well into his 80s, he was asked, how do you do it, Clint? How do you manage to be able to act, produce, and direct at your age? And in typical Clint Eastwood fashion, he responded by saying, "Don't let the old man in." And there's a song produced by one of his friends that made the hit parade. And I've stood here before and I've said it, and it bears repeating. You do not stop playing when you grow old. You grow old when you stop playing. Finally, and you're probably saying, thank God. Finally, I'm running out of steam. I want to, if at all possible, like we've lost a lot of people, and you've heard Kathy, and we gave a moment of silence. Lost a lot of people. Every time I look out there are people that are missing. And there's a time to remember those people, but there's also a time to move forward. You have to get on with your life. There's an old saying, don't always take life too seriously because you're never going to get out of it alive anyway. And it reminded me of a conversation I had with a colleague of mine, Don Barton, who passed away a while ago, and his son Chris is here tonight to get an award. But we had one of those mano-to-mano conversations several years ago with the help of a rum and Coke, real Coke, not that sissy diet stuff. And we said, you know, one of us is going to pass before the other one. If there's any way possible that you could get a message, whoever passes first, get a message down to the other one, let them know what's up there, what to expect. Well, lo and behold, last night, I got a communication. And it said, Dave, I've got good news and I've got bad news. I says, what's the good news? Dave, he says, there is fast pitch, there's slow pitch, there is co-ed, there's men's leagues, ladies' leagues, competitive, recreational. It is awesome, and it's very competitive. Good ball. You'll know a lot of the players up here. He said, it is fabulous. I play on many different teams. I said, well, that's great news. What's the bad news? Well, Dave, he says, one of the teams that I play for on Tuesday, that's 3 days from now, he says, we're scheduled to play Tuesday, and Dave, the bad news, you're scheduled to start at first base. Thank you, folks, and cherish this and every evening. Thanks, Kathy. And I met you.
Oh, wait. Dave. Oh, this is Murray. Oh, sorry, that's Murray. That's yours. That's yours. Oh. Melanie Fernandez, you have no time to speak at all. Our next team that is being inducted is the 1997-1998 Smitty's Terminators Junior Women's Fastball Team. The Smitty's Terminator Junior team, based out of Winnipeg, represented Manitoba at the Canadian Junior Championships in both 1997 and 1998, and each time brought home silver medals. There were no junior leagues for the girls to play in, so they played against adult teams in the Ladies Fast Pitch League of Winnipeg. The Terminators undoubtedly benefited from playing against older and more experienced players, but they held their own against the competition. In 1997, they won a senior women's tournament in Saskatoon. They were junior and senior teams from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta at the tournament, and in the gold medal game, this Smitty's junior team beat the Smitty's senior team. This was the Smitty's senior team that won the Senior Canadian title later that summer. This was the Smitty's senior team that won the Senior Canadians title later that summer that these girls had beaten. Following this tournament, the Terminators won a silver medal at the Canadian Junior Championships in Calgary. They lost a very close gold medal game to the two-time defending champions from Ontario. In 1998, the team went to the Canadian Junior Championships in Kamloops, BC, and again came home with a silver medal. 2 national silver medals in 2 years. Although no fastball team can have success without great pitching, the Terminators were known for their offense. At Nationals in 1997, the team batting average was .399, and in 1998, it was .394. In the 6 games that took them to the gold medal game, they scored 63 runs. Many of the players on the Smitty's Terminators junior team went on to be successful on senior teams following their junior careers. Tonight, we induct the Smitty's Terminators junior women's fastball team of 97-98 in the team category. Once again, we'll welcome them individually, and if you'd like to hold your applause, starting with Shannon Storchak Christensen. Melanie Penometz Fernandez. And just incidentally, the 3 teams that are being inducted, if you could wait until after the 3 teams are inducted and Les Alchuk will do some group photos. Joanne Harvey Hodgkinson. Tanis Lavely Kabuka. Shelley Grumninski McGavock. Yeah, serious, Joe. Dale Newsham. Marion Newsham. Lori Fedorchuk Newton. Charmaine Nichols. Leanne Scott Papineau. Danica Payette. Heather Newsham Ruby. Carla Taylor. Jack Taylor. Melissa Winning. Karina Kalander Zanoli. And not attending but a part of the team, Camille Batty, Andrea Lawson, Kathy Lee, Carrie Rach, Lindsay Chester Rakowski, Kelly Swanson Sains, and Dennis Chester. These are your Smitty's Terminator Junior Women.
Congratulations. Good to see you again. Congratulations as well.
And speaking on behalf of the team is Melanie Fernandez.
These are some tough acts to follow, but I'll do my best. I was voluntold that I should represent this group, and it's a real honor. Good evening, Hall of Fame Selection Committee, fellow inductees, and family members. With much gratitude, I accept this award in the team category on behalf of the 1997 and 98 Smitty's Terminators Junior Women's Fast Pitch Softball Team. Smitty's, it's a name synonymous with softball in our province. Hearing it evokes equal parts moans and smiles, depending on the audience. That is because we were admired and loathed. We were the envy of many teams as our organization created a dynasty in the 1990s for women's fast-pitch softball, due largely in part by builders such as the Helinskis and the Newshams. The relentless dedication of these folks truly places them in a league of their own. Many of us had been part of Smitty's for a few seasons by the time we reached the golden years in these late 1990s. We all started somewhere, and for some of us, that meant C-ball on dirt fields at Isaac Brock or Tyndall Park. Others came from rural teams in faraway lands such as Morden, Notre Dame, Portage, and even Flin Flon. We added pickups along the way to round out the team, but by the time 1997 and 1998 arrived, we were an unstoppable group of young adults with targets on our backs. Many wanted to be us, and most everybody wanted to beat us, badly. But we were a family, a sisterhood of sorts, with many beloved and hilarious nicknames. We literally spent so much time together, I am sure that our moon times became synchronized as a group. I'm not quite sure how our mostly male coaching staff tolerated us at times. But we trained with intent and respected the process. Sleep, eat, play ball, repeat. There was no grumbling at practice. We knew the job we had to do, and we did it. We dragged generators and a pitching machine to various open fields. This is a true story. Coaches whacked grounders and pop flies at us for hours. We loved it, and it groomed us for the week-long, twice-a-day practices leading up to our 10-day nationals tournaments. It was a big deal to be bagpiped in for opening and closing ceremonies, play under the lights in front of big crowds on smooth diamonds with plate and base umps. We played alongside and against players who ended up on junior national teams or representing Canada at the Olympics. So what we achieved was truly no small feat, so there is very much to be celebrated. Our team was a bit non-traditional in some ways, but it mostly seemed to work for us. For example, we never ever stayed in host hotels, ever. Even if you found a chicken bone in your bed during check-in. Once again, that is a true story. When we won coin tosses, we almost never picked being home team. Our powerful batting lineup would jump on the sticks, score a quick few, and then we would hold them for the remainder of the game due to our amazing pitcher-catcher duos and impenetrable defense. We trained indoors in the off-season, which at the time was somewhat unheard of. Due to so much travel to play up in age for away tournaments, we had crazy budgets, which meant an awful lot of fundraising. Players ran skills camps for minors, and we would umpire for youth tournaments while parents flipped burgers in the canteen. It was truly a family commitment. Many of us are now parents ourselves, and we realize this even more so. So thank you to our families who made many sacrifices to support our successes. We were away from home pretty much every weekend from May through August and practiced or played most weeknights. Chaperone moms took turns looking after us, and they were like second parents. Marion pretty much kept the male coaches in line, which was a full-time job in and itself. She was scorekeeper extraordinaire, game changer app in human form, and she did not skip a beat. If we had $1 for every time Dale would ask Marion the count or the number of outs, I could have funded Charlie Krupp and Bloomberg to be operational for many years to come. Our team did not take no for an answer, and we never gave up. We struggled like many other teams with injuries and adversity, but Dennis would fix us up, or we would tape the crap out of our sore heels and scraped up knees. Seeing as we were old enough to drive at this point, it is actually amazing that we ended up safely arriving at Calgary for nationals and Kamloops, but that's another story in and itself. It is a mixed bag of emotions and opinions seeing how the game of fast-pitch softball is changing. We have traded in Kevlar team bats for individual double-barrel technology, sliders and shorts with polyester tops for skin-tight pants and breathable jerseys, dugout cheer squads and home run high fives for walk-up songs and TikTok dances, rally caps and war paint for bubble braids and hair ribbons, and game clips recorded on giant video cameras for access to view Pac-12 live streams. Time is sure a thief, but the memories cannot be stolen. Our players are now mentors and fans for the next generation of athletes, many of us imparting our wisdom and experience as supporters in our communities, and if lucky enough, even as coaches of our own children in a sport that we love. Despite joking in past that we never would, many of us have also crossed over to the dark side and now dabble in playing slow pitch. But I say this in jest and with much love. We are all here because we love the sport of softball, and it has enriched our lives. It is forever in our blood, a part of us always. We will treasure the memories and friendships. This moment is truly a blessing, honor, and privilege for our team. Congratulations again to those of us with previous team or individual inductions, and especially for those of us experiencing our firsts tonight. I will close with a quote. Talent wins games, but teams win championships. Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies. And the final team induction tonight, and the final induction period, is the St. Vital Flocking Ducks senior men's fastball team. The St. Vital Flocking Ducks were a veteran team comprised of players who had competed and distinguished themselves at top levels of fastball. Included were players who had played with the Winnipeg Colonels of the Western Major Fastball League and some who had played with the 1968 National Championship Molson Canadians. One Winnipeg sports writer referred to the team as the Over-the-Hill Gang in an article about its success. In 1974-1975, the team won both the Winnipeg Men's Fastball League and the Manitoba Provincial Championships. This allowed the team to attend the National Men's Fastball Championships in Victoria, BC, in 1974 and in Oshawa in 1975. In 1974, they lost a close pool game to the Oshawa Tonys, who went on to win the Nationals that year. In 1975, they again lost a hard-fought game to the eventual national champions from Victoria. A testament to the level of fastball that the Flocking Ducks were capable of is that the Victoria team that narrowly beat them in the 1975 Nationals went on to make it to the finals of the World Championships in New Zealand later that year. In addition to Winnipeg League, provincial, and national competition, the Flocking Ducks played in numerous tournaments in Manitoba, Ontario, and North Dakota, many of which they won, and in all cases represented Manitoba very well. Tonight we welcome the St. Vital Flocking Ducks team into the Softball Hall of Fame in the team category. Starting with Matt Barton for Don Barton. Frank Clark, who is here, but we will get you your award. Pat Coffey.
Congratulations.
You're going to take it? Thank you. Rick Denny. Ralph Enns.
Congratulations.
Regan Gaborio for Alphonse Gaborio. Bob Clausen. Lloyd Penner.
Susan here for Bob.
Thank you.
Norman. Susan. Norman is here for Bob.
Oh, Sue Norman is here for Bob.
Susan.
Susan Norman is here for Bob, Norman?
And Darcy.
And Darcy. Lloyd Penner, if I didn't say you, I apologize. Don Schledwitz. Susan St. Germain for Bob Norman. We talked about that. And for Darcy Norman. Ed Taves.
Congratulations.
Also on the team, George Archibald, Barry Braun, Ron Demon, Rob Dilk for Al and Ken Dilk, Lorne Hayward, Steve Kloak, Buzz Lamond, Pat McKim, Dennis Nord, Al Norris, Wayne Norris, Ted Wadowich, and Ross Murray. These were your St. Vital Flocking Ducks. Now, Frank Clark was to give the speech, but in fact, it is his three daughters, Jennifer, Cheryl, and Catherine. Please welcome.
I'm sorry. So, ladies, yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. You're good? As Kathy mentioned, my name is Jennifer, and these are my sisters, Cheryl and Catherine. And we are here tonight on behalf of our dad, Frank Clark. He is here, but he asked for us to speak for him tonight. He was one of the founders and the team manager of the St. Vital Flocking Ducks. Yay. Hi, Dad. We wanted to congratulate all of the other inductees tonight. It's quite the impressive roster. So congratulations, everyone. We wanted to take a minute to recognize all of the Ducks who are here and not here this evening. We are grateful for the opportunity to represent you. With a special mention to Duck Pat Coffey, who flew in from BC. Ha 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 ha. There's going to be lots of those, and we're not sorry. Because the 3 minutes we've been given isn't nearly enough time to go over all the details of the success of the Ducks, we hope we can capture the spirit of the team instead. In essence, the lunacy that was the St. Vital Flocking Ducks. The Flocking Ducks were created from the minds of two quacks, our dad, Frank, and his good friend, a great ball player, Mr. Dennis Nord. Together, they convinced 5 volleyball players, 5 basketball players, and 5 actual ball players to flock together as a team, stealing some of the most talented athletes out there. And when I asked my dad, well, why would these guys play with you? His answer was, we like to have a good time, we like to win, and no question, we could do both. So with the birds of a feather now all together, the team colors were then chosen, and the next step was to come up with a team name. So one of the players had a brother who was very talented at drawing, quote, a stupid-looking duck. So perfect, very fitting. They would be the St. Vital Ducks. And what do ducks do? They flock. So the name St. Vital Flocking Ducks stuck. But this is the official version that we were told of how they came up with this team name. But we know, given the team's sense of humor and smart-ass nature, that they really just wanted to yell things out, like,
Flock you.
what the flock? Flock ya! So as you can imagine, flock you became quite the mantra. And riding the ducktails of their captain, Mr. Nord, the Flocking Ducks did fly to many victories, including twice winning the provincial championship to represent Manitoba at nationals, where duck calls became the new cheers. We're so good at this now. And flock you pins became the new trading cards. And it's true that they did play some great ball, but with great ball came great irresponsibility. All team meetings were held in the closest bar. Pre-game warm-ups actually meant tailgating in the parking lot. There was the tournament in Lac du Bonnet, where the circus was in town, and Roscoe became the first duck in history to be charged by the RCMP with open liquor on an elephant. Yep, it's true, it happened. There's photos. There was the game against the prisoners at the Stony Mountain Penitentiary, where after the Ducks hit a homer over the prison fence, all of the inmates started yelling, "I'll get it!"
I'll get it. No, I'll get it.
And then there was the Uncle Duck, who put a duck decoy, or pulled a duck decoy back and forth over the other team's aluminum roof of the dugout. You can imagine. So you see, there was much more to the St. Vital Flocking Ducks than their wins, than their league domination, their tournament victories, and even their provincial titles. They were true examples of ugly ducklings, but very talented ball players, who flocked together and found a way to fly, all while having a duckload of fun, eventually landing them in these proceedings tonight. So thank you to the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame on behalf of all of the 1974 and 1975 Flocking Ducks players and their families for awarding them with this prestigious honor. It's about flocking time.
Please join me in congratulating the 3 teams that are inducted tonight. I can't wear that. I'm a broadcaster. I can't. Well, that concludes the formal ceremonies for this year, this evening. Thank you to our special guests that joined us. Congratulations to all the inductees. We thank you all for joining here tonight to congratulate these folks. The silent auction prizes, there is a poster of them up. Would all the teams please go to the left for group pictures? We will see you all next May. Thank you. Stay well.